Hello, everyone. Welcome to our session today. This is the open session where we're going to talk about roadmap requests. So we're looking for your feedback. Just a bit of housekeeping as we get started. We'll do some introductions first. I'll let Maz go ahead.
Looks like Maz is muted at the moment.
Apologies. Good morning, everyone. My name is Masroor Ansari. I go by Maz, and I'm the product manager for Jonas Encore. Thank you for attending today's session for giving us some feedback. I'll pass it over to Rob.
My name is Robert Lamanna. I am the product manager for Clubhouse Online and Jonas Activity Management, and I echo Maz's sentiments with regard to thanking you for joining us. Hopefully we get lots of great feedback that we can use in future development from this session.
All right, so my name is Bill Buck, and I'm the Chief Product Officer at Jonas. I've been here for 25 years, so I've seen a lot of product development, which has been a lot of fun. You'll notice that Michael Lowwater, who is the product manager for the Jonas Club Management System, is not here today. He unfortunately was unable to make it at the last minute, but we'll be sure to pass on suggestions that we gathered today. So from a format perspective, if you've joined other sessions, you'll know that we can't see you, and we can only get your questions through the comments section. So please use that chat box to submit your questions or responses to something we might have said, and we'll try to jump on those as soon as we can. We'll display them on the screen when we can. The session will be recorded, and you'll be able to grab that afterwards if you're interested. And, what we're going to do is we're going to, in order to make sure we get to everything and so everyone has a chance to jump in, we've split the session into essentially 5 10-minute intervals. And what you can see on the screen what we're going to cover in each one. But the goal is we'll try to, cut each one off at 10 minutes. But then at the end, we'll have an open session to talk about anything that we didn't get to or something that you thought of afterwards. We just want to make sure that we can get to, everyone has a chance to talk about their functional area. So we're trying to be cognizant of that as we go, because there's a lot to cover and it's only an hour. So let's go ahead and kick off the session. The first thing we're going to talk about is the membership system. So if you have any questions, please put them in the comments and we can kick this thing off. Usually it takes someone to start it and then it starts rolling after that. But please give us your membership requests. So this would be anything, whether it be, something you set up in the back office, something you wish the system did, something that you struggle with, tracking, anything related to membership.
Maz, maybe go back one slide so we can show them the definition of what we sort of housed under membership. Help anybody come up with any requests. So member file, email marketing, the online roster, accounts receivable, anything in those veins.
All right, we have our first question from Janet Fraser, and that's the new member automated process. Maybe we could get a little bit more details on what you were looking for there, Janet. Is that as far as progressing through membership, like according to age, or maybe you can give us a couple of extra details on what you're looking to see? Or is that maybe with regards to onboarding? So while we're getting some extra feedback from Janet there, let's talk about Phyllis's question. So does the data captured in the CRM module upload to the new member profile? Do you want to touch on that one, Maz or Rob?
Sure. I mean, any data captured in the CRM module, tough to say what a new member profile means. I mean, if you're creating a member from a CRM, then we would transition that information over to the member that was created based off a prospect in CRM.
Yeah, the convert to member process does convert over that prospect's demographic information, any information that you've kind of stored against that prospect. And when you convert them to a member, all of that would then move over to their member profile so that you have that.
Right. We got some clarification from Janet there on the So what she's referring to is an online application rather than sending a form in that they have to then enter the information into the system. So that is something when we talk about CRM, there is a form you can create on the website that does allow you to create a prospect in the back office CRM system. And then eventually that, depending on if that person does become a member, you can convert that to that is something that's available now as part of the CRM.
And Rob, the flexibility of that submission form that they create, or that app that they create to submit that request, is it a pretty simple BizForm option? Is there quite a few different types of fields and things that they can kind of add a questionnaire to or something?
Yeah, the BizForm you can add is whatever fields you want to it. I mean, a lot of that information is not going to be captured in specific fields in the CRM record. We're going to create a key value pair for each submission that doesn't fall into one of the hard-coded fields like member address, number, email address, stuff of that sort. But you can capture all that information and it would be added to a note attached to the prospect.
Okay.
So I want to touch on Gregory Doyle's question here. He said, we changed some membership categories recently, and if I delete obsolete membership categories, will they still be available in terms of historical reporting? So the data would still show up. You'd be able to see that category in the log file as for a historical perspective. In a lot of cases, the system will not allow you to delete stuff that is currently in use, even if that use is inside a history file. So it may or may not allow you. I'd have to check on that specific case, but only real reporting you'd be able to get would be the log file, I think, at that point. There's a question here from Tim Emery. It'd be great to be able to edit a member picture captured via a connected camera. For example, our webcam captures in landscape and would be helpful to crop the picture in portrait for printing on our member cards. Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, we can add that to the lists. That makes sense because you want to be able to manipulate it on the fly after you've captured it. So you're doing the integrated capture, but taking it a step further to allow you to do some editing directly in there. Okay, that's a good one. Thanks, Tim. Ariel Dodgson, are there templates in email marketing for new member onboarding? We want to use workflows to onboard new members, but having a template to start with would be useful. I believe that is absolutely the case, that there are some templates to use, and that there are workflows available as well where you can have it automatically do some emailing and follow up, depending on if people open the first one. And that's definitely something you could reach out to the email marketing team. Like if you place a call with the support team, they can help you with that for sure. Laura McLaughlin was asking about the ability to filter and search by member status. So one of the things that most people don't know in as far as JCM goes, when you're searching in that F2 lookup, that pop-up that comes up, search text in any of the fields that's in the membership, the main member profile. So status, if you typed in, let's say for instance, active, it will filter that search. Now there are other ways to filter out members if you're talking about that. Like you can, in the status itself, you can decide what shows or what doesn't show in the lookup. In case there's like some guests show up in the lookup at point of sale, you can actually, there's settings to make that filter automatically.
Yep. And additionally for the Encore customers, there is a little funnel filter icon in the member next to the look for at the end there in the members listing screen that allows you to then filter on any column via that funnel filter icon that gets added to the column header there. So you can choose then club status and just choose active or a subset that would then filter that list, your member listing on the screen.
Rob, do you want to maybe touch on the Rebecca Endra's question there? If there's an option to allow members to opt out of having their information included on the roster?
Yep, there absolutely is. A member has the ability to go into their roster record and say, hide me from the member roster, which will hide them entirely. Other than that, they can opt to hide or show any element of their member information. So a couple different options, like a whole hog remove, as well as a piecemeal, choose which options you want to make available.
Martin had the question about they use DigiWedge for member payments, and if there was going to be further integration to make the process smoother. So I know, Martin, we didn't get to part of your question this morning, so I want to touch on that a little bit. I know the payments thing is, we've been talking about it for some time, and it's definitely something we want to do, and we're actually looking at doing. The trick with payments, where it sounds like it's just a simple thing, is there's a few moving parts on that. So first of all, it's the question of whether it brings you into PCI scope or PADSS scope. If as a company, we try to stay out of scope. So all our existing solutions, we never touch a credit card. We do that on purpose, so we get certified as out of scope. We don't touch anything. We don't have to do any additional certification. In the case of online payments, a lot of the providers, with security and everything else these days, I won't get into too many of the crazy details, but it's really different to add payments onto the site. You have to be very careful as far as the scope goes. And if you are pulled into scope, that completely changes how you have to structure your servers, because now we have to put servers in a different area. They have to be walled off, and there gets into a bunch of extra technical stuff. So technical stuff aside, because we can work through that, the additional challenge we've had talking through it so far is the general ledger updates. So now that I've made a payment, is that going into a certain GL account? Until I recognize that revenue, I need to be able to recognize it as a deposit. And so we're working through some of the details of that, but it is definitely something we want to do. It's just we have to cross all our T's and dot all the I's on that one. It's a little more complex than it sounds.
Bill, we are nearing, it is 12:12 right now. Just in terms of timing for the section, do we want to address the few questions we have left on membership and then move on to the next section?
Sure. Carolyn Cheney was asking about importing data into the custom member fields. I believe you can do that right now. So you can reach out to support or our professional services team, and they can help you with that. Martin, thanks for your feedback on the editing photos. We'll add you to the list. One of the things I should have touched on at the beginning was chime in if it's also something that you would like to see done, because that helps us, right? Our development plan is driven almost exclusively by customer requests. So if we hear 20 people asking for the same thing, that makes us bump that up on the list, because we want to please as many people as we can with the requests. So definitely chime in on the chat. If you see something you like, don't just nod your head and we can't see it. Please chime in and say, yeah, I would love that, because that really helps us to understand the importance to clients. So similarly, if you're thinking about something, please submit it through the support team, and they will get it to us. We are meticulous about tracking every request. So we have hundreds and hundreds of requests, and the product management team is going through those all the time, make sure they're consolidating them and knowing how many times a certain request has come in. So please let us know. That helps us a lot. Janet here, I can upload member photos into their accounts, but I can't run a download from Jonas to capture all those photos in a file.
Encore Maz and Bill.
Yep. Yeah, we don't have an option to just download all the current member files that are attached to a member down to a folder. I would love to understand the purpose of that export and what we're using it for, but currently not an option in Encore as far as an export to the directory goes, because we are encrypting and compressing some of that stuff in a way that it's not identifiable as far as a photo goes when we're storing it. So there's a little bit of security around that as far as getting them out easily in a readable fashion for you. So.
Yeah.
I can follow up with you, Janet, and we can see what we need there. And I just wanted to mention for Phyllis's inquiry, as far as the showing, today's session primary objective is to gather requests so that we would receive requests and feedback from all the individuals with a short time frame of an hour, 10 minutes allocated to each section, and a tall order of receiving as much information as we can. We won't be sharing screen content on product, but any answers to the questions you've received that you would like a one-on-one time with, we can definitely follow up with you on any of those areas.
Naina Patel had a question about, is there a way to link billing codes with particular member statuses? These manual when we set up new members or when members first to playing.
So I do believe in JCM they added, or in Jonas Club Management they added the if you are a Jonas Club Management customer, added the membership types concept, and I do believe that you do have the ability of adding activities and category fees directly to that membership type, so that when you do set them up, they can come automatically. They aren't available on the status level. But they are available on the newer setup in Jonas Club Management from a couple of years ago that's been there, membership types under Club Management, Club Setups.
So I think, as Rob said, we're getting a little over time. We'll keep track of these questions and we'll try to circle back to them at the end. And let's move on to the next one, which is accounting. I think the Jody Gron's question there about it qualifies for accounting, so let's touch on that one. Our monthly statements go out of Jonas Encore as the automatic overdue balance notifications done through Jonas Encore or online marketing. Automatic overdue balance. So I think the email marketing system would be where you'd want to send those out of. And there's an option in the email marketing to sync the balance, and then you would create a list out of there to send to overdue accounts.
Yeah, as long as you're bringing up that field, you can create a segment based on anyone with an overdue balance as of a particular date, and then ship that. You can send an email notification to them, but I'm not sure if it's automated per se in terms of sending the message. You can schedule it, and then it'll send to people that qualify as of that date.
Right. And Peggy, I think that answers your question as well. As far as overdue notices, that's exactly what we're talking about. So Carolyn Cheney had a question. When I'm uploading the GL transaction, I'd like to be able to edit it in Jonas if necessary, like I can with the third-party POS upload, rather than having to close out, edit the file, then re-upload.
It's a fair request.
Yeah, that's a good request. Yeah, we can add that to the lists. Essentially, what you want is when yeah, okay, we know exactly what you want. You go into it, you want to be able to upload it, have it view on the screen, and let me edit it. Just don't go straight to posting. Yeah, that makes sense. Janet had a question about override by member the statement type they will receive. For example, my members that have a corporate account want his charges separate from his family's. Right now, he's just set to receive all CHIT copies so he can separate his charges from theirs. Okay, that's an interesting one. The tricky one there, we'll take a note of that. The tricky part, just off the top of my head on that one, is going to be identifying, I guess, the charges themselves. It would, from a dependent standpoint, we could probably do it where we would know anyone pointing to his account is probably want to be on the alternate statement. Be a little tricky on the figuring out if he has charges coming from, point of sale or else. Being able to split those would be a little funkier, but it might need some manual intervention. But we could probably talk to you about it. Benjamin, any plans for cash flow statement format in JCM? It is something that we're talking about. I believe right now most people use the MasterGen tool for creating a cash flow statement.
Yep.
Assuming you have that
either that or Flash reporting, but MasterGen most of the time has worked well due to the flexibility in the tool that provides for what a client requests as a cash flow statement. But we can add the request for line design.
So Stephen Burford asked a good question about editing journal entries. So after posted, similar to how you can edit AP invoices after posting. I should chime in that a feature that was just completed last week is you can now edit the date of record for AP invoices. Just in case you're not attending the session. Well, that probably won't be mentioned in the session because it just got finished last week. But that is another new feature where you'll be able to edit the date of record and it will move all of the transactions. But that's a good request. You don't get a lot of requests on that one. That's an interesting one.
So for the Encore customers on the line today, there is the copy feature in your journal entry batch program that allows you to copy from a previously posted work and simply check the flag that says mark it as a reversing entry. It'll flow it into the grid for you, so then you can make your edits or post it as a reversal. However, editing the original it's not exactly what the request is. So we will take this request out. So thank you for that.
So Naina Patel had another question there about recurring journal entries, and when we post these journal entries, at times $0 items are posted to GL. Yeah, we've talked about this one before. The tough one there is sometimes we've had clients that actually want the $0 entry one, and so, but yeah, we can look at adding something there to not post the $0 ones. That does make sense.
That's a good one.
In Encore journal entries for multiple days batch, will you enable adding supporting documents as we can under regular journal entries?
Thank you, Monica. That's a good one.
Yeah. To be honest, I didn't realize we didn't support it in there.
Yeah.
The tricks there is to know what day to attach it. I think default we'd probably have to attach all of the documents to all of the days, but that's a good one. We can look at that. We can see if we can do that with just attributes rather than making copies of the document.
Absolutely. All right.
Okay, Janet Fraser, having the ability to reverse an open invoice in AP in a similar fashion that we can do in AR on chits.
That's a good suggestion. It's basically similar to doing like an auto credit, but an easier way to do it from the vendor inquiry as a suggestion.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion.
Yep. Thank you, Janet.
We see it a fair bit with AP invoices that
it would be nicer if you're in the inquiry on the phone with a vendor, you realize, oh, it's the wrong Cisco account or something, and you can just go ahead and kind of do it in context of the vendor or the inquiry, I should say. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Any other accounting ones that we can touch on?
Just commenting on Laura's seconding on eliminating the $0 entries to Nina's original comment.
Thanks, Laura. That does help.
That Again, does help us. Thank you.
Another vote, yeah, for that one. So.
Yep.
Martin's also on that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
We got 3.
That's good.
All right.
So Angie Wilton was saying our club is part of a buying group that invoices for various vendors and we remit payment to. The buying group is flagged as a payment account and the various vendors have the buying group vendor code as a remit to. We use transfer paid posted invoices to payment account to get different vendor on the same check to the buying group. But could all invoices selected in cash requirements list just group to the remit to vendor all on the same check? That's a good one. When we get into the remit to, it's obviously a little more complicated. Gather those invoices, but once they're in the list, yeah, that's a good question. That's a good request.
We can definitely follow up.
Phil Guido is saying I upload almost every entry. What is the logic for deleting the original file? I always make a copy in case there is a need to upload or reverse or modify another upload. I don't know specific. I didn't. In only some programs, I think we actually deleted. I can't remember off the top which one.
Yeah, it's some programs that have it, and it's primarily just to protect the user. I think the primary reason was so that they don't upload it twice by accident from the same directory, because maybe a third-party system is creating it into the directory in some of them. So if I recall correctly, Bill, that was probably one of the main reasons.
Yeah, that's likely the case. And there was lots of cases I've seen where people upload stuff twice by accident, and so that could be depending on which upload it is. But
yeah, if maybe the specific upload would help, Phil, whenever you get time, if you wanted to confirm that for us.
Can we upload a PDF of an invoice with the entry? You can in the Encore system. You can on the JCM side.
I can't recall.
I don't believe you can. Off the top of my head, I'm forgetting all of a sudden. We'll check into that one. Hopefully, we'll have an answer for you
Yep.
by the end. Maz, you're on the wrong screen there.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Sorry, my bad. I just
No
clicked
worries.
Probably
on
move
that.
on from accounting now. It's 12:25.
Okay, yeah. Let's move on to the next one, and we can go back with anything that comes up. So, food and beverage, one of my favorite programs. Any food and beverage questions? There's some significant changes that are coming that I could touch on.
Give it a minute. And oh, there we go. Here we go.
All right. So Janet Fraser was asking about pop-up messages when online ordering regarding wait times. Can you maybe clarify for me? Is that when on the web when they submit the order? Are you looking for wait times there, like so that to tell the member like there's been a significant number of orders, or just to tell them how long the prep is going to take? I'm not 100% sure on what you're looking for there. Maybe just a bit of clarification on that for us would help. Automatic chit closing for online orders was what Irons was mentioning.
So
We've
yeah,
had some discussion
for
about
Logan, for Logan in Jonas Encore under the all chits open chit screen or the my chits open chit screen, whatever user you're creating and launching those chits for online orders from, there is the ability to do a settle all and close in bulk. Just in the interim, obviously, it's not exactly closing off chits through online ordering, but once chits are open for online orders in the Encore point of sale, you can do a bulk settle to close to member charge. And I'd be happy to show that to you if you haven't seen that function.
As far as the request goes, obviously we'll log that. I just want to make sure we what you're looking for there would be as soon as it goes to the kitchen, are you looking for anyone to trigger the close, or would it just be we automatically close it to member charge after a certain amount of time? It's a little tricky if no one touches it, is the only thing, to know when to automatic, or is it just at the end of the day, anything that's left open that was an online order and sent to the kitchen that got made, something like that. So Janet was asking on the web or the mobile.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's
essentially when you submit your order, maybe give them some feedback. Tell people the wait is longer. Okay. We've had a few requests on that. I'm scrolling off the screen here.
I think Monica was next.
I got one from Megan Smith, the one that's on the screen now. Is there a way to upload manual chits in JCM? There not a way to upload into point of sale and to create point of sale chits. There's sort of a way you can do it. I showed this to someone the other day. So there's a little event management system in point of sale. So you'll see it actually says event management on the menu. Inside that, if you created an event, even though your event could just be an upload, you can then upload all of the charges onto that. It adds a step because now you got to create, all the chits. So you have to click a button to create them. But then there's another step that allows you to close all of them as well to member charge automatically. So it is a couple of extra steps, but you can do it that way. And if it's a big upload from an external system or from an Excel file or something, then that will save you a fair bit of time because it's not difficult.
Oh, and for Monica's question, Monica, the point of sale sales item image itself is now being sent as the default for the online ordering image. So if you start adding sales images to your sales item setups, then they should be used as a default when you bring them into your outlet menus.
Patrick McGuire mentioned we're looking for a way to throttle online orders when the restaurant is slammed with in-person dining. Something we've been kicking around. We've been trying to come up with some ideas on how to do it. It's a little funky because then we're like, it based on just a restriction. I think the easiest way is just to say there's a maximum of this many online orders we can handle during a time period, as opposed to trying to figure out, oh, we have so many dining reservations or we have so many open tickets, because it's really hard to know what overlaps and what doesn't. So I think that's where we landed when we went through the discussion. Rob, I don't know if that rings a bell.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably just setting a threshold exclusive to online ordering, saying we're only going to take X number of orders during a given time frame or per time frame within a schedule, and then that way you can figure out what that limit is that doesn't impact the in-person dining, if there is any at the time. And obviously, if you want to play with that as restaurants start opening up more, you can shift that threshold around. But that's kind of where we landed. We haven't. This hasn't started in dev or anything yet, but that would be the general idea.
Phyllis Riley was asking a question about a banquet package item that has revenue breaking out into food, beverage, and services. In other words, taxable, non-taxable, with and without service charges. And that's on, I assume you're talking about the event management side, because right now I think it excludes any item from the point of sale when we bring them in that is linked to a package.
I think we're okay with packages as long as they're not tax inclusive. But if it is a tax inclusive package, we can't. That is excluded from the list of sales items.
Right. Yes, the tax inclusive restriction. Okay. Yeah, I don't know it's 100% possible to do what you're looking for right now, but we'll make a note of that one.
However, from a charging standpoint, just for point of sale itself, if you did want to set up a package revenue item of any stature to kind of transact in point of sale directly without event management, that's supported. There is a way to set up that kind of package item.
So Logan just confirmed that it was essentially once it prints. So I guess once we send it to the kitchen, we just automatically close it. So we could do that inside the queue program. So when the queue fires it, we just close it out to member charge. Okay. Makes sense.
So effectively, once we send it to point of sale, close it on site.
Yeah. Which, yeah, that's it's not too crazy.
Yeah, it's the only method. It's the only settlement method. No harm, no foul, right?
Yeah. And then, like he said, you can always reopen it. So if there's a problem, you just reopen it and settle it to something else or make changes, whatever you need to do. Maybe they called and added an item. You can just reopen that. It's better to close them all than have to reopen or close them all. I get
Smaller proportion.
Yeah. Oh, no, event. Phyllis confirmed it's the JCM
Banquet catering.
Catering. Okay.
We don't know if
that's... So Martin Walker was asking, I've been deactivating item in point of sale, but when I use the next arrows, it still shows the inactive items. Can these be hidden? That's a good one. We could probably enhance the next button to skip inactive items. It's because those are tricky ones, because then, this is a good example of where our job gets a little bit fun, is we'll do that, and then someone will call in and say, why isn't it showing me the inactive item because it's the next item on the list? So that's a funky one. Well, it's a good idea. We hate adding more config options because it's for the user to have so many, but that might be a case where we have to add an option to do that. Ariel Dodgson was asking, our club has on-site wine lockers that are assigned to members. Our members purchase wine that is stored in their locker. We bill the wine through point of sale, but we have to keep each member's wine locker inventory on paper. Could we keep track of each member's wine locker inventory on their member account for a server or bartender to print out? Well, funny enough, we actually integrated with a third party called WineFetch last year, I guess, early in 2020 at some point. And essentially it does exactly what you're saying. So the wine inventory would all be kept in this third-party system. We would allow you to look up what is available in their locker at point of sale. So that work is actually done. And then online, I believe the member can see what is in that locker as well. So through their Clubhouse Online site, there'll be a new feature in the membership area that allows them to see what wine they have in their locker. Unfortunately, after we completed the work, that company did not have time. They had some other stuff going on with the pandemic and everything else. They didn't have time to work with us. So I'm hoping it gets revisited at some point, but I don't have a timeline on that currently. But it's great that you're asking about that, and we can follow up with you should that come around. We can definitely follow up with you and get you a demo of that, and you can see how it works. Megan Smith was asking, instead of capturing an electronic signature, can we capture an image of the person? That's an interesting one. I haven't heard that before. I like it. We in the case of Shift Manager, when you're clocking in, there's an option to take a picture of the person. That's more for staff, but this is the first time I've heard the request for a member. That's interesting. I like it. Pat was asking, is a manual intervention. So I think what you're saying, Pat, is this is back for the limiting transactions from online ordering. So are you talking just disable it or just reduce the number coming in at the time? Maybe you can, because we could add something easily to say, take online ordering off during this time period or for the next hour or whatever it might be. That would be one way to do it. Or is it kind of on the fly, reduce it to only 10 or 15 orders coming in?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, Bill, that we can take it offline on the fly right now, but it's global, right? It's not just between 5:30 and 6 o'clock. It's going to be for every range, right? That outlet will go offline. So yeah, some clarification would be great there.
So Dale Cadeau was asking you about uploading into event management, whether it be linked to a point of sale area. It basically creates a point of sale chit. So all of the linkages to point of sale should work exactly the same. I just think it's the only program that we actually can upload into that will create a point of sale chit. Yeah, otherwise it should link to Member Insight for sure. So let's see. Janet Fraser would love the ability to set the limit for online orders. Okay, that's good. I'd add that list. We're going down to online ordering, a way to put a temporary stop on orders with a message pop up. Okay, so that's similar to what we were asking for request. That's good to know. Nina Patel, is there a way to transfer closed chits to different members? Can it be done for previous month? On the Encore side, we do have an ability.
And I do believe in JCM they have move incorrectly posted chit as an option to be able to move it. In certain scenarios, you can move based on the settlement or payment type of the chit. So there is a program in Jonas Club Management. It's called Move Incorrectly Posted Chit. I do believe it's under the processing menu. And then for Jonas Encore customers, it's the reverse credit charge feature that allows you to move to member optionally and just creates a credit with the date of record of your choice, whether it's current month or same month of charge.
Yeah. So Janet was asking about for event management for different events that may be different service charges or an easy way to override the surcharges.
I think we have override exemptions. I can't remember if we have exactly override.
I don't think
override amounts. No override amounts. No, just exemptions only on an event basis.
You can make it subject to certain taxes, or configure which taxes are applicable or if they're exempted. But I don't think we have anything to limit or modify service charges on the fly.
Yeah. In addition to that, Rob, we do have the ability to have an extra gratuity. In addition,
Correct.
Since we're talking surcharges for those that may not be aware.
So it would be almost like the status override we have now, where you can put a rate in there to say if you're this member, then they get this. This member status has a percentage service charge override, but we could put something in there, I guess, that allowed you to say override and then showed you the service charges that are on it and allowed you to enter an amount.
Yeah, the tricky thing is it's by item, right? So it's almost like you'd rather have the ability to do it in line. Because you don't know where it would be applicable, except by service item or by service item effectively.
That's a tricky one, but we can we'll put that on the list and we'll knock it around internally to see if we can come up with a way. Mm-hmm. Linking a core item as a count. This is from Logan. For example, we have lobster salad and lobster rolls, but our lobster supply is one number. Currently, we are balancing manually between items like this. Maz, didn't we do a way to one item based on another?
Yeah, so we did do the bill of materials that could deplete stuff from an inventory standpoint, but for food typically not used.
Yeah.
These are two separate sales items. It seems like this is a food inventory question as far as how to better manage the lobster supply. Now, for limited proteins and things like this, like a lobster tail, typically goods on hand that we would recommend. These menu items don't look like they're using a simple one unit of something. It looks like there's some preparation involved. There wouldn't be a way currently that I would see that we would be able to simplify it. It would have to use standard costing across the two unique sales items in the system currently.
Yeah, I think if you set up a lobster item and then had the other two reduce the lobster item, you could track.
That would be the only way, and it would have to be using whatever decimal quantities to figure out how much of the lobster for a salad versus the roll is going to be used.
Yeah, it's not always the most accurate from a food inventory standpoint. It's really tough to maintain. But if you're saying it reduces it by one lobster or one lobster tail every time I do these, that would probably work.
Yep, that would work. And Logan, there's a how do I article on that in the Encore help under inventory and how do I set up a bill of material item. I think there's an example there for you to see. But if you need any help, we can definitely walk you through that.
Okay, so the online ordering limiting was popular, so that's great feedback. I appreciate that.
We should probably move on to the next section.
Yep.
It's now 12:41.
Yeah. All right, up next, got sports and retail. So similar, it'll be point of sale questions, but more on the retail side. So whether as it relates to inventory or things happening in the pro shop or tennis outlet, whatever it might be.
Oh, that's for Encore, probably. I see.
What are you talking about, Pat? Pat wants us to demo club management. Sorry, demo
club. Yeah, demo club management.
I read that as demonstrate the club management system, and I was like, that's a big job. You want a demo club management system
for Encore specifically, since
Yep. Yeah, with that one is on our list. We've talked about it a couple times. That's something we want to do.
I'll add it again for Okay, so Dale agrees with Pat on that.
I'd be curious if other people are looking for ways to manage their demo clubs and what exactly, like, to narrow that down a little bit to what they'd want to see, right? Like, do you want to have it somehow track the inventory of that, or are you kind of creating items on the fly? Because a lot of times these demo clubs are not in inventory. This would kind of be separate, kind of a list of something you're going to lend out. You probably want to create one on the fly and just say it's assigned to this member. Hear some ideas on that one, because we have heard it before. We haven't narrowed it down to very specific. Do you need to be able to message someone? Do you need an automatic messaging because you want the time to expire? Like, they have a week to have it. After that, you're going to pester them to get it back. You need some reports on it, I assume, so you know who, what. You want to attach a value to it. Do you need to record that value anywhere else? All the things we think of from a product standpoint is everyone has a different idea of what they think of for demo club. Some is super simple, which is great, but similar to gems. Okay, I don't know the gems.
Yeah, we can look at that. We can look at it. We did look at GEMS a bit for the special order functionality for the purchase order application to do member special orders and provide delivery notifications along the way. So it's something for us to look at in GEMS.
All right, Pat, we'll hit you up for that. Any other retail questions? Now, was this, I can't remember, was this supposed to cover tea times as well, Maz? Or was it?
From a booking standpoint, I think we included that in the booking module section, but
Okay.
open the floor to anything.
Yeah, was there one, is there one more or is that?
There is one more, the booking module stuff.
Okay. Yeah, because I recognize the time's going quickly here.
Yeah, if we're not going to get anything, we probably should just move on and see if there's any questions there. And then,
Sure.
like I said, we can always circle back at the end.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk booking modules. So we have a number of booking modules in the system now. So hopefully most people are aware, but this last year we released class scheduling online. So that's the latest online one that we have. We have our appointment booking module, which was originally titled lesson management. So that's more like one-on-one bookings with time slots. And that one is really slick, the lesson booking, if you haven't seen it, because the provider can actually set their own schedule online. They can book members into their schedule online, and it's a great way to make sure that someone in the back office can book, but also that pro or that instructor can book as well, so that they're booking off of the same calendar. It's pretty slick. All right, so Martin was asking, can member status be shown in class bookings?
I assume this is in the registration list. I think we have this request already, Martin, so we'll just proceed with it. You just wanted to add a column to the registration list to see the member status, and that is something we can definitely do.
Yeah, that makes sense. Laura McLaughlin was asking if there was a way to limit number of class bookings, i.e. only 3 per week. There's not restrictions right now on the number of bookings. Something where that module, there's not a lot of people that are using it. With the addition of online, we're finding a lot more uptake. So that's definitely good feedback. The ability to point an app menu item or URL to a specific facility for court booking.
I was talking about this on the Clubhouse Online session earlier. I don't know about a specific court, but we are definitely looking at doing something where you can pick a particular activity type. So say, for instance, you wanted a page that was just tennis bookings and you could have multiple court types therein versus squash versus badminton versus whatever other sports you're booking in court booking, the ability to do a page based on activity types. So I don't know if that helps, Logan, if that would be something, because you said specific facility. We can talk about your example, and we can go from there and see if we haven't done anything yet. So now's the time to sort of feed back on it. The specification was built off of previous requests from clients. So interested to hear what else, if you could give me a little more detail on that when you say specific facility.
So Tim Emery was asking if we could add the class location to the class confirmation email. I thought that was already there. Is that not there, Rob?
I think it may not be. I think we all thought it was there.
Okay.
I do remember hearing this. Let me take a look at what we've got there. We probably already have something.
Okay. So that's a good one, Tim. If it's not there, we'll definitely look at adding that. Janet Fraser was asking for tea times through members first, the ability to send a message to all on the tea sheet that day. Okay.
I got that earlier today from Janet, so noted.
Yeah, we'll feed that back. Laura McLaughlin was asking, can we have some details of the class, like in event management online?
Yep, absolutely. That is something we are looking at doing, adding a description to the back office to be sent to the web. Just hasn't scheduled as yet.
Yeah, facility types is what we're using as activity types, is what Logan was saying. And then Martin.
More than likely, yeah. Court book, tennis versus squash, etc. Okay. Yeah, I think Martin. Yeah, we're on the same page. I think having a unique page per sort of type of booking, as opposed to having everything in one giant sport and court type list within the court booking single page.
Any other questions? Anything else you guys are curious about? One of the things that I can let you know is coming on the F&B side that I thought was pretty exciting from a Jonas Club management standpoint is there will be a new way to do courses. It will be similar to, for those that use Encore, it will be similar to how Encore works. And it will allow you to assign a default course for each item, and then for a category, which is inherited by the item. So when you add it to the chit, it will automatically have a course, and then you'll be able to fire those courses. So that is coming. It's imminently. It's in testing, so it's going to be within the next few weeks. Ability to segment pushes the way we can in the email marketing system, i.e. women by age.
Yeah, it's definitely something we can consider. We just got to figure out how and where we would do it. But understand the request in terms of being able to better target your push notifications by something other than status or fee billing, and potentially by name. So,
yeah. Monica Henniger was asking, going back to membership, we would like the ability to upload supporting documents with record charges transactions. Yeah.
So just my question for Monica, just clarify, are you looking for supporting documents to attach to the audit trail to the GL for accounting purpose, or are you looking for documents to attach to the members' document side as part of those transactions? One push.
Right. Whether you're assigning like almost a chit image, you mean, versus the overall.
Yeah, like are you wanting to upload, Bill's email along with that miscellaneous charge that I'm going to do, or is it really just a document that I want to see in the general ledger as the supporting document that created these transactions?
Laura
to
mentioned
the audit trail. Monica mentioned to the audit trail.
Yeah, Laura mentioned it would be good to attach for the account. So there's something, something for everyone. Yeah.
Okay, so let me take a note of that double. It's a to attach request. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Monica.
Yeah, here we got a few more minutes.
Alyssa just put a question up from Cherie Anderson. Is there a place to learn how to use the membership checklist?
Oh, that's a good question. It should be in the help system. If it's not in the help system, then please don't hesitate to log a call, and someone can walk you through how to set that up. This should be pretty quick. There's nothing too crazy, but it's a slick feature. I'm pretty sure there's documentation on that one.
You got a question from Martin?
I'll let Rob take that one.
It's not something that is immediately happening. It's something that we will consider. I mean, the spa bookings are a little more complicated than a lot of the other modules in terms of the multiple member, multiple service, multiple provider arrangement, but it is something that we will, hearing the feedback, if anyone else wants to chime in and say that that's something they're also looking for, that'll definitely push it up the list.
Yeah, Denise just chimed in on that one. Thanks, Denise.
Thanks, Denise.
Yeah, and even maybe what we would end up doing on that one, we've talked about phasing it a little bit, where there might be some simple bookings we would do first, because that's probably the most common request is someone wants to just book a couple of services or one service. That's much easier than trying to implement group bookings and multiple people. And in a lot of cases, those are better for someone to call in anyways. So it might be that we do a quick one, a simple booking up front.
I know. Oh, we use Spaware at the moment.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of clubs that have spa services that weren't necessarily using our health and spa have used appointment booking to satisfy that simple booking setup. So that's an option to consider, that it's an already available module. Now I know Martin might already be using health and spa and doesn't necessarily want to transition all of his setups over. So I understand that. But for those of you that aren't using our spa module currently, appointment booking does a pretty good job of the single service, single provider appointment currently.
Yeah. It's the last of our booking modules that doesn't have an online component. So it's definitely something we're looking at.
I mean, at this point, it's 12:56. We can just open the floor to any questions on any topic, not any of the 5 sort of areas we gave you. And see, Dale seconded my point earlier.
Yeah. That one's nice too because of the component where the provider can do their scheduling. That's a big piece of that one.
Yeah, especially if they're not staff members, they're not on-prem at the club very often. They can do it all remotely from their phone or their desktop computer, set their schedule, and then people can book into it, or they can book people into it themselves. It's nice in that respect. Some of the so Martin asked, can Jam modules integrate so that we don't have to recreate items between modules? Some of them are would not have to be modified, but things like sales items would have to be tweaked a bit because they work a little bit differently, and the providers would have to be allowed to provide a different service. So and you're setting them up, you're scheduling people for different jobs to accommodate. So there is quite a bit that can be transitioned from spa to appointment booking, but there is some stuff that is unique to appointment booking that would have to be recreated.
Janet's got having a field and member accounts for locker combinations that allow members to view that information in their online profile. Yeah, that's a good request.
Currently, just wanted to chime in for you, Janet. If you do have your locker number stored in an extra info field, that extra information field can be presented to the online roster so that members can view their locker number field. Or
I think there might have been a question earlier, Maz, on how to do that. I think it was in the membership stuff left over.
Okay.
I had it from, someone wanted to know about, where is it? I wrote it down. Sorry, Janet Fraser asked, adding custom fields of member accounts, bag storage number, locker numbers, even combos, viewable by the member in their online profile and by staff in their member file. Where or how do you add custom fields, and how can we display them online? Oh, okay. Alyssa got that for me. Thanks, Alyssa.
Yeah. So we'll definitely reach out, Janet, and give you the help that you need to add those fields to your online roster view area there for members.
Credit card reconciliation similar to bank rec. I haven't actually heard that request before. I don't know, Maz or Rob, if you've heard that one.
I've not.
I do understand that we offer a special payment account feature in Jonas Club Management, which I based on Nina's last question, it seems like you're using, but not from a separate reconciliation process outside of the bank rec. So that's something we would want to take note of, and maybe reach out to ask some more questions, Nina, on getting some more details as to what that would look like.
This is probably one of the last questions because we're right at the end of this here, but Tim was asking about if having drag and drop functionality for member card design, or at least a grid displaying the XY coordinates. I think it is. I thought it was drag and drop right now, but I don't believe it has the coordinates, so which would make it easier for some of those. So that's a good suggestion. And Martin was asking, does that mean custom fields are viewable in the app?
Yep.
Yep.
All through the roster. So as long as the roster is being displayed on the website of the app, you can view those. The members themselves can view those custom fields, and they can decide whether or not they want to show them to anyone else.
Pat was asking, we require a management system for dress lockers and bag stalls, a way of handling wait lists and stuff. Okay. So it's not
Locker system.
have the lockers, but if someone's waiting to get on that list to be able to rent one, that's good. I hadn't thought of that in addition to the just having the locker system, but the wait list is a good one. All right. Well, I think our time is up for today. We really, really appreciate these suggestions. Please don't hesitate to put more suggestions in here. We will be monitoring the chat, I believe, till the end of the week. Then we'll try to feedback and anything we heard, and we'll if we need some clarification on anything. But again, appreciate your time and thank you very much. Hope it was useful for you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.